Hello students, let's continue with optical network concepts. In this video, let's look into what is PDH and SDH and what is the meaning of optical network node and switching elements. So before understanding what is synchronous network, we have to understand what is the difference between PDH and SDH. So when we talk about end users, they become very dependent on the effective communications, and there are so many telecommunication services like video conferencing, database access and multimedia file transfers. These require so much of flexible network along with unlimited bandwidth. The complexity of the current network based on this PDH transmission systems, the network operator are not able to meet this demand. So PDH was basically evolved in response to meet POTS. POTS are plain voice telephony services. So these POTS are not suitable for efficient delivery or to manage high bandwidth connections. So this is the disadvantage of PDH. So hence synchronous digital hierarchy transmission systems are evolved to meet the shortcomings of this PDH. So advantage of PDH is that it uses the same fiber and it is capable of increasing the available bandwidth and also reducing the amount of equipment in the system or the network. So SDH also increases more flexibility in the network compared to PDH. The synchronous network are the one which gives vast improvement in the control of transmission networks compared to PDH. It has following advantages like improved network restoration, reconfiguration capabilities which results in better availability. So the slisochronous technologies are encapsulated together within a standard SDH signal. This enables them to deploy synchronous equipments in a manner which are suitable for a particular need of their network. So in pre-existing PCM transmission hierarchies for telecommunication networks, there were three types of hierarchies to understand, such as European digital hierarchy, North American digital hierarchy and Japan digital hierarchy. So in this figure we will be understanding European multiplexing hierarchy. So basically we know that slisochronous transmission is the technology used for transport of bits, but it suffers major drawback in order of the multiplexing as shown in figure A, where we have at different levels different multiplexing stages, that is from 2 to 8, 8 to 34 and 34 to 140 megabits per second. So the extra bits are needed to be inserted at intermediate levels which has to be maintained by the slisochronous operation. So in order to achieve electronic hardware saving and reliability, a strategies like 2 to 140 megabits per second, that means a straight 2 to 140 megabits per second as shown in B capabilities can be used. This synchronous multiplexing optical network recommendations tend to be referred to as SONET in North America and SDH in Europe. The table shows the SONET standard developed by ANSI Digital Hierarchy with base rate of 51.840 megabits per second. OC1 represents the optical carrier level signal. Hence, it is also called as base rate signal. STS is a synchronous transport signal from which the optical carrier signal is obtained after enabling clock recovery at receivers and electronic to optical conversions. So STS1 is considered as a basic building block of SONET signal hierarchy. Like that, the different levels of OC1 and STS are shown in this table. STS1 frame structure. For STS1, a single SONET frame is transmitted in 125 microseconds, hence 8000 frames per second. This structure enables digital voice signal transport at 64 kilobits per second. So in this structure we can see there are 9 rows, each of 90 bytes. Therefore it produces a total of 810 bytes. So 8000 frames per second into 810 bytes will result in 51.840 megabits per second base rate, as we saw in the previous slide. The first 3 bytes in the STS1 frame contains transport overhead byte, leaving remaining 783 bytes to be called as synchronous payload envelope. We call it as SPE. What does this transport overhead byte do? It has several functions such as framing, scrambling, synchronization, multiplexing within SPE to carry various type of information such as voice, video that are multiplexed onto STS1 signal. In order to achieve high bit rates required for wideband services, the higher order multiplexing of the number of STS1 signals are required. So this figure shows STN frame structure obtained by bytes interleaving n STS1 signals. So here the transport overhead bytes of each STS1 are frame aligned to create 3n bytes of transport overhead. Asynchronous transfer mode or ATM. ATM transfers information in fixed size units called cells. Each cell contains information to identify the source of transmission but contains data less than packets. Asynchronous transfer mode is high-speed broadband transmission data communication technology. It is based on packet switching, which is used by long-distance carriers such as long-haul networks to carry data such as voice and video information. ATM transfers information in fixed size units, as we mentioned, called as cells. So this cell format is shown in the slide. So it has an header and a payload. Header is of 5 bytes and payload or a data which is of 48 bytes. The header includes information to identify destination, path, channel, and also takes care of error control bits. Before sending ATM cells carrying user data, a virtual connection between source and destination has to be established. Optical Transport Network or OTN layers. It consists of set of optical network elements connected by optical fiber links. This OTN are able to provide the functions such as transporting, multiplexing, switching and supervision. So IT/OT recommendation provides the information about the typical hierarchy of the OTN. So it has basically 4 layers. The first one is optical channel layer, optical transport layer, optical channel data unit and optical channel payload unit. In figure B, the OTN hierarchy supports 3 sections: optical transport section, optical multiplexing section and optical physical section. These 3 layers in OTN produce interfaces enabling optical signal transmission to reach the information from one end to another end using optoelectronic interfaces. In the figure C, we can see the functional block diagram of OTN layers. This encapsulates 2 or more additional layers such as optical channel data unit, that is ODU, which are used to enable connection, protection and monitoring, and it also has optical channel payload unit, that is OPU, used to enable or to access payload information of SONET or STH signals. So all these layers ensures the proper connection, error connection and flexible routing. Internet protocol. It is a protocol by which data is sent from one computer to another on the internet. Hence it is also called as a communication protocol. It has a set of requirements for addressing and routing data on the internet. Each computer on the internet has at least one IP address that identifies it from all the other computers on the internet. In this figure, we can see that IP lies between the link layer and a transport layer. The connection is established with the specific higher level protocols such as TCP or UDP. So TCP is much preferred than UDP because this UDP does not guarantee reliable delivery of data in comparison with TCP or IP. Internet protocols also encapsulates data from link layer protocol such as Ethernet. The IP also provides protocols to enable functions like routing and signaling. Some of the signaling protocols are multi-protocol label switching and generalized multi-protocol label switching. So this figure shows three generic stages of deployment of optical IP networks. In the first generation, it used ATM to carry IP packets, which has proved not to be an efficient technique as compared with direct usage of the SONET. The second stage has three tiers comprising of IP and a thin layer of SONET and DWDM, that is dense WDM. The ongoing IP revolution suggests that STH is not bandwidth efficient for IP packet transport. Hence, in the third generation, they started using only IP over DWDM for the effective transmission of data. Let us see what are IP traffic patterns. So in the previous slide we understood that IP running directly on the DWDM layer has become an important goal in optical networks. Some of the implementation schemes of IP traffic patterns are explained here. In the first figure, the IP over a point-to-point WDM network employs optoelectronic conversions. So in this case we can tell that the IP router are connected with point-to-point WDM links and the traffic which are processed through the IP router only after the conversion of O to E conversion and after extracting the packets. Therefore, most of the traffic which are processed by the router will be a transit traffic. This is shown in figure 2. So when I say transit network, it is the one that bridges a connection between two other network as well as it passes its own network. So by handling the transit traffic at packet level, it increases the average delay and packet loss also, so which does not provide an efficient network. Since the IP router is overloaded with the traffic, that is transit traffic, the scalability problems are also increased. Figure C shows IP over OTN. Here the traffic passes without any terminations and without any conversions. So it will be switched through OXCs, optical cross connects. So that is the packets are just routed through a router at packet level after E to O conversion. So as shown in the figure D, we can see that IP over OTN allows bypass of non-transit traffic also. So here in this case we can see optical bypass which is implemented to reduce the traffic load on individual router. This reduces the packet delay and network congestions. The last figure shows IP over OPS or OBS. So this is an advanced version of IP pattern and we can tell that this will be working on all optical domain which will be using optical switching or optic burst switching type networks, and this traffic pattern is not yet commercially available.